here. Make sure you guys hit up the chat. Let me know if audio and everything is working like it should. So we are currently in the process, guys, of strapping this car down. So as you can see, we already got the front strapped in. We are going to be monitoring fuel, and we are going to be monitoring our exhaust gases. So those are already in place. We're just strapping it in right now, guys. You guys are seeing the pregame. We're getting ready for this. All right, guys, so here we go. We have made it to the dyno shop. We've gotten everything ready to go. There's going to be some videos coming out on what we had to do to get here. There were a few things that were not quite right. We had to fix. So that's all part of this process to make it to the dyno shop. You don't want to bring a car that's hurt or broken to the shop. It won't turn out good. Oftentimes you're either going to break on the dyno or you just won't be able to finish the runs if it isn't running right. So pay attention to those videos in the future. We will have a lot more coming out on what it took to actually get to today. Once we're here and we start doing the pulls, you guys will start seeing what's going on. Some of the things we're looking at changing are things like the skip shift eliminator, which is really annoying on these cars. It'll go from first to fourth because it skips over second. We're going to cut that out completely. We're also going to cut off the rear O2 sensors because at this point they're no longer needed once we get this tune done. We're also going to trim our fuels, add a little bit of timing, and do those kind of adjustments to get this thing lasered in for what we have currently in the car. Now, this is all going to change in the future, but for now, we want this thing to be running as best as it can. The reason why is we're going to shake down the hard components that we're going to be using in the future. The transmission, the engine, all of the components that are major items attached to those, we want to make sure they're solid and they're good. If they're going to break, they'll break after we've done this dyno tune and driven it for a while. If it holds up to that abuse, we know we can start pouring the power into this engine. And that's what we're after. We want to strip this engine down and pour the power into it. Guys, as we go today, make sure you guys leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys hit that like button and the subscribe button. It really does help the channel. We're going to do some pulls on here. You guys are going to see how we actually go about opening this car up and getting way more power out of it than what's currently here. From stock configuration, it's not good, guys. So we're going to finish up the strapping and we should be ready to go here shortly. Doing some last minute checks. All right. So how are we looking? Everything's pretty much set up, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sucks to step up down.
Oh, yeah. These things are not fun, and you don't want to move it around. Still think we're going to pull it ahead a bit? So I will give you your mic. You can clip it if you want, or you can use the magnet on the back, whatever you want to do. So it picks up from the phone.
Just clip it anywhere?
Yeah, clip it anywhere. Should be good there. I usually try to keep it chest level. That way it doesn't spike the mics. All right, today's kind of a special day, guys. We normally don't go live on a Friday, but we are here with LS Goat. And am I pronouncing it right? Schwanke?
Schwanke.
Yep, Schwanke Engines in Springfield, Minnesota, guys. So this is where we're at. We're here doing our dyno pulls and getting this thing optimized. Right now, we're just locking it down, making sure this thing does not move on the dyno. We do not want it wiggling. That's out of gear too. We're done.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, it's still in gear.
There we go.
All right. Just want to come in a little bit.
So positioning wise, you're trying to put them towards the top of the drum, correct?
Right on the back side of it.
Back side of the drum. Let me bring you guys around so you can see exactly what we're talking about here, guys. So we're trying to position these right on the back side of that drum. And we currently have 4 straps in back, 2 up front with wheel chocks on, guys. This is why when you go to a good shop, you need to make sure they strap that car in good. Because if they don't, you're going to have a lot of problems. And this is not an area you want that car coming loose, especially with what we're about to do, guys.
Right there.
So we're doing some last minute cinching up. If you guys are liking this content, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's going to help us to do more stuff like this in the future, including building this motor and getting this back to this shop. This very same shop is going to do the final tune on this when we got this all said and done. And they are helping us to build this motor. You guys have already seen a lot of content, but you guys haven't seen what it took to get us here. So we are going to be doing a whole bunch of videos based on that for the future. Doing some final checks, guys. Guys, got any questions or comments? Chat them in down below.
That's so far in there. Okay.
I'd say right before you're ready, let's do kind of a walk down of what we can expect, what we're looking at.
Okay. All right.
final double checks, guys. We already ran it on the drums to make sure it wasn't going to walk off the edge of the drum. Just doing some final cinching down. Again, we are going to be pushing this car, so we need to make sure that it's going to be ready to go.
You go grab a high pressure tire gauge and I'll have one in here.
All right. So we're going to check some final tire pressures. We want to make sure that we're not going to rip a tire apart or have anything go bad. These are final checks for the dynos, guys. Anytime you come here, you got to make sure you have everything in place. We got our sensor set up for our O2s so we can read it not only on the computer, but also we can read it through the dyno testing machine itself. So we're able to pull information from two different places here. Not only will the laptop give us information, but the machine itself will. Pressure's a little high for what you want on the dyno, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Remind me before you leave that we have to put this back in there.
So what were we sitting at for tire pressure?
It was at 40.
40.
Yeah.
For a street application, that's fine, but not on a dyno. Where do you normally run it? About 32?
It'd be about 28 or so.
About 28?
They're short sidewall tire.
Okay.
Normally on street tires about 25 if they got a little taller sidewall on them, but
So what's the main advantage of bringing it down there, just so that we know we got good traction and we're not burning the tires on the dyno?
yeah, because it'll spin the tires in the dyno otherwise.
Okay.
When we dyno the sprint cars, we put belt dressing on the tires.
Oh, wow. So yes, guys, this is one of the few dynos in Minnesota that will dyno sprint cars, guys. So if you are one of the sprint car drivers and you are in the Minnesota area, make sure you guys hit up Schwanke Engines. Their information will be linked down below after the video. I'll get that in there so that you guys can contact them for any performance needs or dyno needs. Doing some final checks. We need to air these tires down, guys, because I have them set on the street performance settings. I have them aired up for a reason, because I do cruise the car a lot. But on a dyno setting, we don't want to have tire slippage. We don't want clutch slippage. All of these we want to eliminate as much as possible. This will give us the most accurate readings and allow us to actually tune this thing to the best of its ability. If we're spinning the tires on the dyno, we'll never get the real numbers. Tires are an 18x8, guys. So this is running a stock width rim. I believe it's running stock height as well. I think the stock ones were 18s on here. But these are aftermarket rims. These got the American racing rims, not necessarily the best style or design. They will be going to a snowflake style in the future with a wider tire in the back, just to increase that contact patch. We don't want to run slicks on this car, guys. I'll tell you that right now. We can't run slicks on this car. The reason why is we are going to tear that differential out if we do. It's already been looked up and down, not only by myself, but by the tuner here. I will get his opinion on this, but I'm pretty sure that this stock differential will not handle slicks. So this car will never see slicks because I will tear that differential out. And this is the kind of information you need to do ahead of time before you get carried away coming to the dyno. If you don't have this information and you don't have a blueprint and a plan set up for what you're going to do, you will wreck a lot of stuff. I've been to several dyno tuning sessions with other people's cars, with a few of my own, and I can tell you that if you don't have everything right, the flaws will show at the dyno. You will see all the flaws. They will come out, and you don't want them to. You really want them to be on point. You want them to be running right. I'm thinking that maybe my speaker setup may not be working right. If you guys are in here, make sure you guys are giving me a thumbs up or something. I'm not seeing a whole lot here right now. I'm trying to see if there's something that I got to set up with my mics. Okay. All right. Just trying to check mics, guys, but if you guys get in here, make sure you guys hit the like button. Let me know that the mics are working. So we're doing some final setting up. He's bringing his computer in. Then we're going to kind of go through and explain what we're doing here with this car and what we're expecting to see. We'll do that before we fire it up and start doing pulls. So this isn't just a dyno pull, guys. What we're also doing is we're downloading all the information off the computer. We're opening up the parameters as far as we can safely go with the current setup. Again, like I said, this is to stress all the components over the next 6 months or so. Make sure that what we are pulling out of the car is still good. If we have anything that has a failure point, we're going to see it in that time. So then we know that our components are good enough to rebuild. Plus, this gives me time to do a bunch of other different things to it. I would like to get the suspension done in this car, guys, before we get into the motor and trans, because I need the drive line to handle what we're going to throw at this car. You might ask, what components are we going to be changing? We're going to be changing the CV axle, the drive shaft. We're going to be working on the suspension, doing a coilover setup so I can fully adjust my ride height. I want to dial the ride height in. I'd like the front end down about another inch, and I would like the back to come up so I can run those either a 17 by 10 or 18 by 10 in the back. So many wires. What you're seeing is he's just setting up the stuff for the computer, making sure that it has power at all times. All right. Set up the computer. Turning on and setting some stuff up back in the dyno room. This will help us to kind of narrow down what that run looks like when we do that first pull. That'll also tell us the parameters and how far we can go with this. We don't want to push it past the parameter that we're going to hurt the car over time. But we do want to maximize what's here. Our goal is not to destroy the car. Our goal is to keep the car in one shape, but make sure that we have strong components to do a really good rebuild on this car, guys. You might ask, why did I choose a GTO over a Camaro or a Corvette? Corvette was way more expensive. So just based on that, I didn't want to go Corvette. I still like the independent rear suspension that a Corvette offers. It gives you a lot of suspension setups that you can do. The reason I didn't go the Corvette route, though, guys, is this has a lot of the Corvette components in it. Now, they're older Corvette components like the motor, transmission, Independent rear suspension is slightly changed and designed to work with the GTO body style, but this gives us a lot more room for the future. We can do more with this car later on, and it's not going to be crazy expensive. The minute you slap a Corvette badge on it, the price goes up. The reason I didn't go Camaro is most Camaros have the solid rear axle. Yes, they're stronger, but at the same time, it doesn't give you the same rider feel. And for what I paid for this car, it gave me the room to do what you guys are seeing us do. If I would have went in and bought the car at a higher price, it would have costed way more.
Oh, good old GM, the OBD2 port right on top of the clutch pedal.
Can't pull it up and go up over the column.
Well, I can go up there. It's still right there, and I got a big foot. All right.
So first step is we're going to pull the stock tune.
Yes.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in on this Friday. I know we normally don't go live on Fridays, guys. This is kind of a rare day for us, but this is also a special day. We're dynoing LS GOAT. We're getting the numbers. We're getting actual facts that we can use to decide where we're going to rebuild this thing at, where we can push it, where we can't. It'll give us an idea on the shape of the motor, the shape of the clutch, how much slippage we have. It'll also give us an indication on where we can go for the future and how we can actually build this thing to get it to be a pretty stout street car. No, guys, we're not building this for the track. It will not be built for the track. I know that might be some of the questions that'll come up in the comment. Am I building it for the track? No. I am a street guy through and through. I've been street since I got into basically doing stuff when I was much, much younger. I don't throw shade at the track guys. They're out there for a reason. They build some crazy cars, but it's just never been my thing. I like a car that I can roll up to a car show, or I can just drop the hammer and roll right by you. So to give you guys kind of a rundown, we've had this car since last November. It was parked over the winter. We didn't do a crazy lot. You guys have seen us put the coils on it, put the valve covers on it, put new plugs in it, a little bit larger wires. Hey, Jeremy, we are running E3 plugs, just so you know. The reason I told them E3 plugs is supposedly they're supposed to pull more power. We're supposed to be able to push the timing a little bit harder on an E3. We get better spark distribution, which is better for making power. So I let him know that there is the E3 in it. You guys would have seen those videos. If you scroll far enough back, you'll find it. We also took the whole front of the engine apart. We cleaned the throttle body. Recently, we just put the mass airflow sensor in it, guys. I got more videos explaining the engine code and the trouble code for what we fought right before getting to dyno. Guys, I got this mass airflow sensor basically 2 days ago. Actually, yesterday. I got that mass airflow sensor installed in here with a new air inlet temp sensor. Talking with Jeremy, we're going to be doing some different stuff here. There is a plenum design that I'm considering going with, but it does require us to redo the tower brace bar and possibly put a cowl hood on this car. If I go the cowl hood route, guys, I will have completely eliminated the stealth option of this car. Meaning that once people see that cowl hood, they're already going to know that this car is not stock. They're also going to know that there's way more going on. Now, the exhaust may give that away anyway, but when it comes down to it, a lot of people can just pull mufflers out and make it sound loud. But you can't hide the sound of a chopping cam. It's not something that can be just hidden by an open exhaust or even a muffled exhaust. You will hear it. We are looking at going with a very large cam for the future build. Because the car is manual, I can get as carried away with the cam as I want. I can go as far as I want. How are we looking? Is it pulling good?
They did a stealth EFI Live update last night, apparently. I didn't know that.
Now you had to get through the update.
Yep.
Yes, guys, we're using EFI Live to tune this car. We are not using HP tuners. It's not that HP tuners is bad. It's just extremely more expensive to run. So this dyno shop has chosen to do EFI Live. Honestly, I think it's a good choice. Pulling tune now. Yeah. Do we want to do kind of the beginning breakdown of what we can expect?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you guys around. We're going to do kind of a early rundown here, what we can expect, what we're looking at, and kind of the direction that things are going to take here. I'm going to set you guys up, and then I'll all right, I'll dip here into the frame. Okay, Jeremy, this is Jeremy from Schwanke Engines. Guys, their info is going to be linked down in the description, so you guys can contact them. They do a lot of sprint cars, just basic dyno tuning stuff, correct?
Yep. Our main business as of now is doing hot rods and street rods and stuff like that.
So yes, they'll get chassis in and completely rebuild them into hot rods, any engine combination, transmission, whatever you guys want.
Anything as long as it's a Chevy.
There you go. So make sure it's a Chevy, guys, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So what can we expect now with this? We're pulling the base tune of where the stock factory is.
Yeah, we'll pull the base tune out, and then we'll do a baseline pull with everything exactly how it is when we got here. The only real difference from factory is we're gonna have to shut the traction control off when we dyno, because it'll sense that the front and rear wheels aren't both turning at the same time. So
okay,
it'll throw it into limp mode if you do that. So you got to turn traction control off, but otherwise we're just going to pull it exactly how it showed up. And then from that point, we will make adjustments. The first thing we'll do in the first cal is we'll get rid of the skip shift and all the stuff that we don't need. And then from there, we'll make fueling changes as needed and go with that. So
our first step is do a baseline run. We want to know where everything's currently at. This will give us an idea on if there's anything that's hurt, anything that's not running right. It'll give us a shakedown, and that's what we need to see before we really start leaning on it. Then our next tune is going to be skip shift eliminator, a little bit of fuel, a little bit of timing based on those first numbers. Yep. Idle, are we going to play around with idle during that?
We'll maybe bump it up because they're usually fairly low, but in the manuals they're usually decent. So we shouldn't have to bump the idle like we did on the truck.
Okay. So this one is running a idle around 800.
Yep.
Personally, I'd like to see it closer to the 725, but I don't know if that's too low.
Well, it'll be it'd be fine now, but when you upgrade, it's probably going to be closer 900 to 1,000, all said and done. So,
And that'll be based on the cam, guys, because we're camming it and we're doing stuff in the bottom end. We could potentially be raising compression, correct?
yeah, we'll definitely, because we'll mill the heads no matter what.
Yeah. So automatically we are going to be raising compression, and the bigger cam means we need a higher idle. We can't run it on a base idle, but we're going to run a very lopey cam. So it's going to seem like it's idling low when it really isn't.
Interesting.
What kind of things are you expecting to see here in this first pull? Like,
I mean, most stock stuff is really anemic on timing always, just so it didn't get hurt. So we'll see timing is probably going to be max wide open throttle around probably 20, 22 degrees.
which isn't much.
Which isn't a whole lot at all. And if you're running 91 octane, we'll be able to bump that up to 24 to 26. The LS1's pretty much in its happy place, 26 to 28 with perfect fueling. So it'll.
So yeah, guys, this car is currently running 91 octane. It's already set up on 91. It's been running 91 since I got the car back in November. So we are gonna tune it for that 91 because we want to make sure that the fuel that we plan on running in the future is the fuel that's going to make this thing happy. And the way we can do that is always run the same consistent fuel. If you guys are going to build a street car, make sure you find your fuel source where you're going to fuel it, because once you build the car, whatever you built it on and based it on that fuel, that's what you have to run. When we're done with this process, I can't run 87 octane in this car. It'll hurt the car. It'll cause detonation?
Cause detonation. Well, you could technically run 87 if you only just cruised, but
The
this
minute
car
you get on it,
won't
you're going to
happen.
ping the
Yes,
motor.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. Exactly. All right, so we've just read the calibration out. We're good to go with that. I'm going to set up my scan screen here and put a couple notes in the dyno computer, and we'll be ready to go then.
Awesome. Anything as far as like first numbers you want to throw out as best guess? What are you thinking for power?
It'll make probably 310 horse at the wheels, my guess.
310 at the wheels is what you're guessing.
That's my
I'm
guess.
thinking it's going to be down around the 280 range. And the reason I say that is this car does have 29,000 miles on it. People have driven this car hard. So this hasn't been driven lately, guys. So I'm guessing a little less. He's guessing in the threes. Let's see kind of where we wind up here. And then you notice the drive shaft had those rubber mounts. Is that something that we're going to want to switch over to more of a solid?
I mean, I'm guessing typically when people build these cars, they end up putting a one-piece drive shaft and get rid of the hanger bearing and everything when they do it. So it might not be the best, all-around setup, but I think it will be happier long run to go to a single-piece drive shaft. Technically, the hanger bearing for drivability and adjustment would be nice because you don't have to mess with pinion angle ever. But I think you'll be all right.
But based on running a coilover setup, we may have to have that hanger bearing.
It really depends on clearances and everything and how far you get into the rear suspension stuff. So
Yeah. So right now we're looking at definitely shocks, new set of springs that are adjustable, and basically updating and upgrading the back suspension as much as we possibly can. I'd like to get rid of some of the heavier components, such as the control arms, and go with a lighter control arm, but it's getting hard to find those components. So we may have to have those made, and I got to find a shop that can make chrome moly suspension parts, because I really don't want something that's going to be weak. If a roll cage is strong enough to keep a car from crushing, it should withstand the pressures of a suspension.
yes.
And in the front, it really doesn't matter as much because you're not putting your power through the front. This is a rear-wheel drive car only. It will never be all-wheel drive. There isn't enough room underneath the car to attempt a stunt like that. Honestly, if the car is set up right and it has the right squat to it, when you get on it, the back will come down, the front will come up. What it does is it transfers that weight to the back. Once that weight transfers, depending on how sticky the tires are, the road surface, all of that, it will actually help propel you forward. But there is that threshold. Once you go too far over the torque, you will break the tires loose and then you won't have traction. And if you ever know the old saying, spinning ain't winning, that's exactly what we talk about. So just some last minute setting up here, guys, before we do some computer work inside, and then we are going to get ready to do our first pull. So yes, we're all curious to see where the limitations on this car are and how much we can open this car up. He just mentioned the timing. The timing is a big component. If we can shift that timing table a little bit to bring more power in, that will dramatically change how this car runs. Just the timing alone. That ain't even us leaning the fuel back or anything like that. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. When I go live from my phone, I don't always see how many of you guys are in here. Sometimes the chats are kind of funky. We normally don't stream live from cell phone, guys, so this is kind of a new setup that we're trying today. Just creating a save file for us.
Yes.
I'll bring you guys in so you can see what we're doing is we're saving everything on the computer, guys. And the reason we're doing this, again, we're going to be doing so much to this car and we want the baseline. So as you guys see here, we are doing the baseline run, but we're saving it in this computer setup. You should always save your baseline so you know where your starting point was. That's the whole reason for us being down here today, guys, is to set that baseline and then open this car up as safely as we possibly can go for what we're going to basically torture test it for the rest of this season. But this will give us an idea of what we're looking at as we take each step, as we do each thing.
All right, should be good to go. Start it up here, make sure everything's reading right.
So I'll bring you guys around and we'll take a look at the first pull as he gets ready to fire this thing up for the first time, guys. This is the first run. Here we go. So once the tires start turning, we're going to start seeing some action here, guys. Probably going to check all of the information, make sure we're looking good right now. Final setups are ready. He's doing a walk around, making sure everything's good. We're going to turn on the air here, guys. We want to push air towards the front of that engine to cool this thing down. It will get hot doing what we're doing. We will generate some heat into this engine. Here we go. This will be the first pull. This will tell us what we need to know for our baseline. And there is a lot of air getting pushed through. I'm currently holding the door open. That's on the side here. It actually wants to suck this door closed. He's grabbing the dyno trigger. All right, here we go. We're in gear, guys. Shifting into third right now. Bring it to a set RPM. Usually that'll be around, he just went into fourth, guys. Oftentimes we'll build to about 3,000 RPMs before we let it rip. That was a solid run. We were up really high in the numbers, guys. We pulled a lot of RPMs. We'll find out here in just a little bit once Jeremy gets out, and we'll take a look at that first run. Okay, so he's grabbed the laptop. Let's walk around and all right, so what are we looking at on that first run, Jeremy?
I'm just saving it right now to see where we're at.
And then we can look at it in the room there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we'll move you guys back because with the fans running, it's going to be hard to hear anything. We're pushing a lot of air through those fans because we need to keep that engine cool. We are stressing it and pushing it to its absolute max. And the important thing is to keep that engine cool. We don't want to do anything that destroys the engine. And this is a stress test, guys. Dynos do stress test all of your equipment. So he's currently saving. And we will take a look at what we got and go over the numbers. The big question is it Everyone's gonna be wondering who was right here. He's pulling in. Well, that was not a good run. Didn't log it right, or?
Well, when I hit the limiter, the limiter was at 68, but hit the limiter and it read everything wrong, so it bounced it all over the place.
Okay.
Let's see, maybe I can go to speed and get it. There we go. Well, you were right. 283 horse.
There you go, guys. So knowing your car makes a difference. You can tell exactly where a car is at if you drive it all the time. You will learn and understand where it's at. So we are currently sitting at 283 at the wheels. So what does that extrapolate to the crank?
A manual car, typically it's between 18 and 25%. Just depends on wear and tear on everything. So,
So you would say pretty safely we are in the 320-ish range.
well, it should be 350, 360. If it, I mean, well, with the engine and everything where it's at, it might be less. I gotta check my pickup on tack because it didn't work right here. Try that. Air fuel ratio is right at where it's commanded, but it's still way richer than it needs to be.
So we're going to be pulling fuel out big time.
Yeah, it's a little lean on the hit, so we'll adjust that and go from there. I didn't look and see what the timing was at for sure, but
pretty sure we know the timing is going to be quite a bit less.
yeah. Yep. All right, so
what we're doing now, guys, is we're basically getting an idea of what we're going to be adjusting from this point. This is giving us our next tune parameters. So we're using the first dyno pull to get the numbers so that we can make the proper adjustments from this point forward. And with each step, we're going to get closer to dialing it in. And what Jeremy was just saying is that we were running kind of lean on the hit, but we're running rich on...
Rich way on the end there. Well, through the rest of the run, yes.
Yes. So we had one spot where we leaned out a little bit on the run. We're going to be adjusting that to get that back into parameter.
How do I clear the display messages when they come up?
Which ones are coming out?
The ABS one came up because the wheel's spinning different speeds.
That was with the traction.
Yeah, when I shut it off, but it's still gonna give an ABS error no matter what because the wheels aren't. It's not reading the wheel speeds.
It's just popping up here, or is it?
Yes, yeah, popping up there.
Is it going to affect the run?
No, it won't affect the run. I just want to make sure in case something else pops up that I know if another error pops up on the display.
So we can try hitting the mode.
Modal. Okay.
Yeah, mode might turn it off. I haven't had that yet on the street application because, yeah, I wasn't strapped to the dyno.
There we go.
So like right now, you're just setting up the parameters for what we're doing, or you're looking over the curves?
I'm just looking at the run here. So we were 19 to 20 degrees timing.
So we were only at about 20 degrees timing, which is really, really like conservative lean, correct?
Correct. Another thing.
Because of streaming from YouTube, guys, on your phone, make sure if you guys are checking this back in replay, you guys are hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. It allows us to do the stuff we're doing. So what we're doing now is we're looking over the run, deciding where we can push and where we can pull, where we have to add and where we can subtract. So that was the ABS that came up.
Yeah.
Try pushing mode on the dash.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. That's just good.
So the reason that we're getting an ABS code, guys, is because all four wheels aren't turning. Only the back ones are turning. And even though we turn traction control off, it still doesn't read those wheels at turning.
Throttle line goes to 89%. This is a cable throttle, right?
Yep, absolutely. Are we not reading full command?
Only goes to 89.
Really? So we got a bad throttle.
I don't think so. It's sweeping correctly, reads 0 and everything, and sweeps all the way through, but it's pegged out at 89% because a lot of them LS1 throttle bodies did have a stop on them.
So is that a computer stop or is that
No, it's a hard stop. It's the casting. So what they did, like Lingenfelter and K-Tech sold $400 throttle bodies back in the day, and all they did was they would grind so that the cam would open up. You could also bend the cam stop as well to get a little bit more out of it.
Is that something we're going to want to do to get that open?
It would be ideal, yes.
Okay. What would it take? So what we're looking at, guys, is right now he just looked at our commanded throttle, and even though it's reading right, we're not getting full open on the throttle. So what we're looking at is we're only getting about 89% throttle. So he's going to look here at what we can do for the stop. And I do see where the stop is. So it's right here that it's bumping against.
Yeah, this is the actual stop. This is the idle stop there. Oh, that's why it's in this for the cruise control. I
Okay.
thought that I didn't look at that. Sorry. The F body cars had that same setup on them, and they have this exact same problem. And unfortunately, they run the cruise control through that. So when you take that black cover off, there's 3 sets of cams in there,
Yep.
and
So it's actually maxing the cam mount.
it's
in there.
as high as you can go on there and retain cruise control. Unfortunately.
Okay, so there's nothing we can do to fix that other than ripping the cable out and going to a different cable set.
Well, it would need a different cable that's adjustable. Because right now, even if I allow this to open further, that's where it's actually stopping.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that's not something that we can fix without redoing.
The entire throttle setup, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
But that will be something that we will have to address in the future
Correct.
to get the power back out of it.
Yep. Yep.
And bending that blade ain't gonna do a bit of good at this point.
I don't think so.
Do you want me to try pressing
Yeah.
it?
Why don't you hit the throttle once? And
So what you guys are seeing is we're doing a real live test here. What we want to see is, do I actually max it out by hitting the throttle all the way down? That's
yeah. See, that's the problem. You're not getting there. So. Oh, and that bay bar is perfectly in the way too.
So you're looking at what we can potentially do to get it closer, huh?
Yeah. Go ahead and hit the throttle again. Yeah, that's unfortunately maxed in the cam setup here. Well, about the only option to get it to go to 100% is we would have to take the cable directly from the pedal unhook all of this and get this cable run to here.
Will it bolt in?
Well, I don't know that for sure. This setup runs around there. It should by rights come on. I need to get a flashlight down the line.
So guys, these cars, they have, when they have cruise control, they have this box that you guys see back here. This is what we're fighting because we're not able to get full throttle on this car. And this is one reason why we're having the issues that we're having. The reason that our dyno numbers were lower is because when he went full throttle, he wasn't able to command 100%. He was only getting 89%. So what we're looking to do is see if we can disconnect the actual main throttle cable and rehook it in up here. So we're unhooking the cable, guys, trying to pull it through so that we can potentially just hook this directly to it. And I'm seeing a very good sign here that we might be able to, guys. Now, for the future, this means I will not have cruise control, but 90% of my driving, I'm not using cruise.
Yeah. We can always put it back after the dyno too.
Correct. We can always put it back after the dyno, but this will give us a direct, this will allow us to command 100% throttle where we're not getting it right now.
If my hunch works.
Too short, huh?
Too short.
Shoot. Yeah. So we got to go back because the cable is too short. I would need a whole different cable setup to make this work, guys. So for the future, that will be one upgrade that we are going to have to do, and it will wake the car up dramatically. And they did this just so that they could have the cruise control, guys. That's why this was done.
Which makes no sense because they could hook it up right there.
Right. So in other words, we're going to be pulling all of that apart in the future. It's going to be getting a different cable because we just don't have a choice.
I'm gonna go test the throttle there once.
Just make sure everything
Yeah.
works.
Okay.
So yeah, even when we hit it full throttle, we're not actually bumping against that stop on the throttle body.
No.
So that stop we were talking about, guys, is right here. This controls your slow speed idle and then your high speed idle. And you can bend this so that when you bump against that, it won't limit it. But we're not getting close there. Our problem is over there, and we can't pull the cable off and fish it through and run it because they put a shorter cable on it.
Yeah, it's about an 1/8 inch off of the wide open throttle stop right now, unfortunately. So we'll work with what we got.
So kind of bad news. That's the most we can get. So now we are going to be going into first round of tuning, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So a little side quest, if you guys have one of these cars, whether it be Camaro, Firebird, GTO, any of these are going to be very similar to that style. All the F-body cars are going to have that same issue with the throttle. So if you really want to wake your car up and get 100% of your throttle, you need to look at different cables. And the best is to just go with one single cable to the throttle body, just take your cruise control out of the picture. I got a feeling that module is also going to throw a code that we might have to consider deleting out, correct?
What's that?
That module would also have to be tuned out because that module is trying to command the throttle to the computer.
Well, it's not even a module. It's just a series of cams there. There's no real, the only electronics are the actual cruise control motor. So,
Okay.
yeah. I know they make a kit. It's just been so long since I messed with one of these that you can redo that. I mean, absolute worst case scenario, you just need to put a new throttle cable on the car itself. You'd have everything, but you should be able to hook the cruise control module right up to that other side of the throttle body. And for some reason, the F bodies in these cars, they did that on. I don't know why. All right. So
what are we looking at for the first table there?
this is the PE table, the power enrichment table. We were commanding 0.82 lambda, which is right around the 11.2, right where we're at.
Yep.
So we're going to bump this up. I want to get it to right around 12.2 or so. So let's start with that.
And this would solve the less fuel at the higher range.
Correct. Well, more fuel.
More fuel
It was
at
rich.
the higher range.
It was rich after about 2,500 RPMs.
Okay. So basically what we're doing is we're basically trying to flatline the fuel curve to make sure that we're staying stoichiometric.
Correct.
Trying to do.
Yep. Yep. Let's go.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are here at Schwanke Engines in Springfield, Minnesota. We are dynoing LS GOAT. Our goal here is to get this car lasered out, and we're going to torture test it for the next few months to find out exactly what we're going to be rebuilding on this car to get this car up over 500 horse. With the potential of putting a nitrous kit on it. So there are plenty of goodies that we are considering over the next how many. What are we adjusting there?
Rev limiter.
Rev limiter. So we're bumping rev limiter because you hit the rev limiter and it kind of just went funky.
Yeah, it'll throw off the dyno graph.
What are we going to?
6,500.
65. Where was it at? 62?
62, yeah.
We didn't have any valve float or anything like that.
No, everything was all right. I don't like to go much over 65 with the stock rod bolts. That's the first weak point is the connecting rod bolts.
So there you guys go. Pro tip. If you guys want to run more RPMs, you guys need to fix the rod bolts in these LS1 engines. Do not push past 65. If you guys are doing your own tuning, you will throw a rod at that point. When we build the engine, I'm pretty sure our stock gauge cluster isn't going to read.
I mean, it goes to 200 miles an hour.
The speedometer might read, but the tach might be the one that will
Yeah.
possibly surpass.
Okay.
Which table are we in now?
We're in the high octane timing table.
So basically, this is setting it up for the 91 fuel, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Now, this one did not have anything that was ethanol, so we will not have bigger injectors in it from factory. We won't have any of those goodies that we can rely on like we did Big Red. Big Red, we had a full E85 setup from factory in that truck, so we were able to push that truck a little harder. This one was just downgraded because they wanted to cut the power back. So we're trying to bring it back in, level it out, get it to fuel where we need it to fuel, get it to cut it back where we needed to cut it back. And we're thinking low end is going to be, we're dialing fuel back on the low end.
We want to lean it up on the end of the run, and on the hit, I would like to richen it up just a little bit.
Okay. So the reason we're richening it up is we want to see what that richening does. And also when we increase the timing, we want more fuel there. We can always pull fuel back out if it's not happy after this run, but we want there to be enough fuel there by us bumping that timing. And then we're also pulling skip shift eliminator and turning off rear O2s.
Correct.
Boy, that chart is all over the place. Is that some of our power loss there?
The other chart was, it was commanding 19, so. We had plenty of fuel. They could have definitely had more timing in it.
You think we leave the idle at 800, or do you think we bump it down a bit?
So what I did is I disabled the cracker. So if the reason you didn't like it at 800, when you would pull up to a stop sign, it would hold the idle up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The cracker table is what does that.
Okay,
So I disabled the cracker under 40 miles an hour.
okay.
So when
Cracker
you're-
is gone under 40 miles an hour.
If you get it in the higher mile an hour range, it typically will, if you're trying to have some fun and spin tires and stuff like that, it'll want to kill when you
Okay.
dump the clutch after it. So, all right. This is the torque limiting table.
Is it limited quite a bit, or is there room for improvement there?
It was at 474 Newton meters. I bumped it to the maximum of 866.
And what does that do by bumping it up?
Basically, there's torque limiting built into trying to protect things like axles and other parts in the vehicle. And so when you're building something for power, you usually
Fix those before you
get
start
rid of
getting
that and don't worry about it. So
under stock configuration, are these axles a weak point in the car? Is it something like I should be careful getting super carried away with this until we beef up that back end?
they are the weakest point in this car, yes.
Okay. So guys, these are important questions to ask your dyno shop. When you guys are doing the tuning, ask them, like, where's the weak points? Where do we have to watch out for? What are some cautionary things? You know, yes, we're giving the motor more power. We're making it shift better. But there's always going to be a weak point, and you need to ask where that weak point is so that you can be aware. So knowing that we are bumping the torque tables up, if I were to do a clutch dump and this thing was to grab, there's a very good chance I'm going to detonate that CV shaft in the rear axle. So in order to avoid that, the smart move is to not get on it until we've beefed up that suspension. Now, does it mean that I can't do a burnout? No, I can still do a burnout, but I need to be careful on how I do that burnout. I can't just let it rip and hope that there's not going to be anything that could happen.
Get rid of the reverse inhibit solenoid and the skip shift solenoid. Reverse inhibit will allow you to J-hook, if that's something you want to do. I would not recommend it on the factory axles.
No, you'll break a lot of parts very quickly.
But it is fun to do. All right.
So what he basically just told me is that if I'm getting violently on the shifts, I need to make sure I don't accidentally reach over and grab reverse. Or try to slam quickly from reverse into drive. All of those are not good on the transmission, and we don't want to see that in the first place.
What's the rear tire size?
Rear tire on this is I'm looking for the measurements. 235, 40, 18. So you're adjusting tire size?
Yeah, because for whatever reason, it was set at 56 inches, which is not correct.
By a lot.
Yeah. All right. So for now, that's where we will start.
Yeah, I said 235, 40, I believe. Yep, 235, 40. So when we do our bigger rims and tires, guys, we will have to change that in the computer because it does make a difference. All right, so we're burning this tune in, correct?
Yep.
And this is with skip shift eliminator taken out, and this is with the rear O2s turned off.
Yep. Yeah, because it when I start it, I normally run up into fourth gear because we pull the dyno in fourth gear. So it's 1-to-1, and it forced me into fourth from first. So.
Yep, so that was that skip shift eliminator that I talked to you guys about. The one thing we absolutely hate on this car. So as of right now, it is no longer on there. I take it we're getting set up for another go here?
Yep.
Okay. You want me to flick the fan on, or?
I've got to go make a couple notes in the computer in there, and then I'll be good to go. So.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move back around here, guys. We're getting set up to do another pull. So this will be pull number 2, and we did do some modifications here. We did adjust quite a bit. So I'm gonna set you guys here so we can see what changes he's gonna make. Until he comes in, I'll dip over here. So basically, what we've adjusted, we've taken off the skip shift eliminator. We've removed the rear O2 sensors. We've added fuel. We've added timing. This will give us an idea on whether the car is happy or not. If it isn't happy, then we know we need to adjust some more, but this will give us a good idea on how far we can go from this point on.
All right. Gotta make sure that the RPM signal is reading right this time.
So I will have to watch computer. He's gonna fire this up. You want the fan?
Yes, please.
Here we go, fan's on again. Get ready for run number 2, guys. We're reading RPM.
There we go. Now we're reading, right?
Yep, it's reading pretty solid. I'll keep an eye on, make sure it doesn't blip out. What we were having an issue with before is the main RPMs were not reading right. So we made an adjustment to fix that. Second gear. We're in 4th gear, guys. Get ready. That was a solid rip, guys. I like that. That was wide awake. It responded way better this time. It didn't seem like it burped nearly as bad. I'm gonna leave the fan on for just a little bit to help kind of cool everything down. All right, guys, that felt like a good run. It felt like it was running pretty solid.
There we go. All right, now we got a smooth grip. So 9 horse, and unfortunately I don't know what the torque reading was before because it wasn't picking up right. But I can go back to RPM. We're going to kill the baseline because it did not. There we go. 320 foot-pounds of torque. All right, so we pulled our hit down, so we're right at 12 on the initial hit, about 4,500, and then it's going richer. So I'm going to take some more fuel out of it.
On the top end.
Well, all around. I want to be about 12.5.
Okay.
So that will get us right in the running. Maybe 12.2, but we'll get a little more fuel in it. It'll be happier there, or less fuel in it. Sorry, lean it out a little bit. I'm gonna have to bump a degree of timing back out of it.
So the reason we're pulling 1 degree out is you noticed a little bit of pinging, or?
No, it's reading 1 degree knock through most of the pull, so we'll just make it safe and take it out.
So this is part of the tuning, guys. This is what it takes. A little bit here, a little bit there. Now, how long have you been doing these dynos?
Well, we put this dyno in our old shop in 1992, and I've been around it my whole life, but doing the dyno tuning and stuff like that, I've been doing the only one in-house since about 2010.
So lots of experience that he was able to, actually, you got it really close off of this first one, correct? I mean,
yeah.
we're dealing with minor adjustments at this point, not majors.
Yeah, and that sucks because if we could go wide open throttle, then I would have been right, and we would have been over 300, but we'll get right at 300 now. which kind of sucks because this should be higher power than an F body. Because an F body, Camaro, Firebird, Trans Am, they'll make right at 300 factory. So,
But we're being held there because of the cable.
we're stuck because we can't go wide open throttle, unfortunately. There's about 15 horse there on the table, I would say.
Now, doing these adjustments, like, is your current adjustment where it needs to be if we adjusted those cables, or do we still need to do this adjustment because we're just not quite there?
No, if we could go wide open throttle, it wouldn't matter because power enrichment is kicking in at the RPM we're at 20% throttle. So we're in power enrichment the entire time we're there.
Okay, so this adjustment that we're going to do now has to be made because we're still under full throttle.
Correct.
And it's still showing us that 1 degree of knock.
1 degree of timing, it pulls out. I mean, it cleans up further in the run, but yeah, we want to get rid of that, so it's out of there. We don't have to worry about it.
And if we're into that 1 degree, does that actually change like the power management side of things too? Does that kind of hurt the power management because it tries to pull back?
Yeah, basically, it was only allowing 22 degrees of timing because of that. So
Yeah, and we're aiming for 26.
26, if I can get it to agree with it. Unfortunately, with pump gas, even 91, you're not always guaranteed to get the best stuff you can either. So
if we make this adjustment and it's still pulling 22, is that something that we got to look a little bit deeper? Is there a program that's kind of holding us up from going more timing?
well, pump gas. I mean, the fuel is really our holdup. So there's not a whole lot that we can get by with on it, but we'll get as much out of it as we can without, well, also keep staying safe with the fueling. So.
Yeah, the tough part is we don't want to damage the motor, guys. That is the negative side of running this kind of setup, is we don't want to do something that hurts the engine overall, the engine on it. And this one is the LS1 all aluminum, correct? So we're talking aluminum head, aluminum block.
Yep.
So on that throttle, what would happen if we moved the cables around? Would that make a difference? Like we put the cruise where the throttle is and throttle where the cruise is, would that change the position of those?
No, the way it's set up is the top cable runs to the throttle body. The second cable down is the from the pedal, and then the lowest one is the cruise control with the little reluctor wheel on it.
What if we removed like the cruise part of the cable? Is the cruise holding it up?
No, it's the cams.
Okay,
so the cam can't physically go far enough with the setup that it has.
So basically there's a cam kit for that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I just need to buy the cam kit and put it in, and that'll dramatically increase the amount of throttle that I can use.
Correct.
So guys, we're just doing some minor tweaks. We're pulling some fuel out, and we're pulling some timing out. We've already gained 9 horsepower over where it was before, but there is some more room in here, and that's what he's squeezing out. Now, obviously, there's a lot more left on the table because of that throttle that we were talking about. All right. Here we go, guys. Round number 3. Just let the car cool down a little bit here. You'll fire it up in just a second. All right, round number 3. This is with a little bit of fuel, a little bit of timing taken out. All right, first gear. real question is what did we gain?
2 horse and 3 foot-pounds of torque. Fueling is coming around. Still richer than I want it to be.
So we can pull that up a little bit more yet, huh?
Yeah.
How was our timing looking?
Timing was good. Timing was good there.
So we hit the 26 on the timing then?
Oh, well, 25. I set it down to 25. So,
25.
yeah. So get the fueling a little bit more taken out of it. And curve is pretty straight now, all the way through.
Fuel curve looks pretty solid. I mean, there's a little dip there towards the tail end, but
Going rich on the very end isn't the end of the world, I guess.
yeah, that saves the motor, keeps it from pinging. But do you think the biggest thing that's hurting us now is those cams? For this
Yeah, for what it, yeah, where it's at now. Yeah.
So definitely have to look into it, or otherwise we're gonna have to figure out a way to cut a tooth into that gear. I think there was a modification that I read that I was able to cut an extra tooth into it.
You could probably drill a hole and move the cam.
So we think that just drilling that hole would.
Well, if you could relocate the throttle, the hole in the second cam down. Take that thing back off. So I think, because this is the cruise control one. Sorry, I was wrong. The cruise control's on the top. The top one is able to just, if you rotated, unhook the cruise,
yeah,
and rotated it to about where this hole is at, and you drilled another hole through there, right where that other hole is at. But the problem is the cam stops there, so no, it ain't gonna work.
So it's the cam gear itself that's
Yeah,
stopping.
basically this needs to be here so that it could pull further.
Okay. But there's no way to get it there. Plus, you're going to have to grind out where the cable rides as well.
I believe that there is a different setup for that.
Okay.
The majority of these that I messed around with were they didn't have cruise control, so
That made it a lot easier.
the guys didn't care.
Yep.
And then we just ran a low car throttle cable and fixed the problem. So, all right, make some adjustments in the tuning here.
I don't think is there a throttle cable that you have that would work for this car that I could take with and swap it out?
Yes, but you'll lose cruise control. I believe I've got an extra one. I don't know how it'll hook up to the pedal, but it should work. Because really, it just needs to be a little bit longer, the cable itself. You could even leave the sleeve there and replace the cable itself. The problem is the cable and sleeve are all one part on the factory cables because the little ball is soldered on there.
So
the aftermarket ones, they've just got a set screw that you tighten down onto it, so they're adjustable and you can pull it apart and change it. So, yeah. But yes, that would be the easiest way to fix it. Otherwise, there's so much information on that setup, I'm sure, out there. I just haven't messed with it in quite a while to remember how to modify it.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that it's probably just replace the sprocket.
Yeah, if the gears were different, it would allow it to pull that little bit further it's got to go. It's only got to go an 1/8 inch, but on the cam back here, it's probably a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. It actually has to move to pull that one.
Yep.
The 1/8 inch you got to go.
The gear reduction.
Yeah. All right, so there you go.
Are we noticing any tire slip or clutch slippage on the dyno?
No, it's actually surprisingly really well. Really good.
So that tells me, guys, we have a good clutch. So at first we thought that maybe there was a bad clutch in here, but all signs are pointing to that it's not slipping.
The grinding, like you're noticing when you're popping it into reverse and stuff like that, is the master cylinder issue that we were talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. The master cylinders in these cars are not large enough.
So it needs a bigger master cylinder for the clutch,
Yep.
which we'd have to upgrade that anyway if we went with
Correct.
a twin clutch
Yes,
setup.
exactly.
Guys, if we go over 500 horse and we're looking at throwing nitrous at it, we're going to be probably what you're thinking, well into the 8s.
Depends on how much nitrous, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get 500 horse pretty easily out of the engine. So
And then we would want to go with a twin disc setup, or at least something that will withstand 1,000 horsepower just to be safe, because you don't want to be putting an 800 horsepower clutch in it and then you're slightly over 800 because you're maxing out the capability of it. This is why you got to build the stuff to last, guys. So fuel pull is what we're after, huh?
yeah, I'm gonna make one timing change. Go back to there. All right, so fueling's done there. Go to
So guys, on Big Red, we just tuned that one in the parking lot. We did not strap it to the dyno. The reason you would strap cars like this to the dyno is then you can actually push them to the upper range that you need to go. The truck, we're never going to run as hard as we run this car. So in order to get the max out of it and make sure that we're dialed in the entire time, it needs to be strapped onto the dyno. We can't do it any other way, because running it on the street, you're going to let up. You're not going to be able to max out the capability. So I will be looking into that cable, guys, and see if we can get a cable that's going to work for this car so that we can get that throttle percentage back. If I lose the cruise, I really don't care about the cruise at this point, but we do got to fix that lack of throttle issue. All right, here we go. Pull number 4, guys. All right, pull number 4, guys. mic setup might be dying here, so I'm going to be pulling mics. We are not going to have noise canceling now at this point. Everything is going to be done through the mic here, guys. So we're pulling the mics. I'm actually going to go plug those in while he's looking over things. I pulled the mics down. Okay. All right, guys, so we had to get rid of the mic setup, guys. Normally I like to run the noise canceling microphones, but we had to shut them off. They were not working properly. So we've just gone to the straight stream here, so you guys are going to notice some background noise. But we're getting close to wrapping up this stream, guys. Just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe button. If you guys want, consider joining the channel, becoming a member. For very little money, you guys can become a member, and you'll get access to additional content, things like that. Also, check out our merch store: hats, shirts, hoodies, drink cups. All of that will be linked down in the description down below. Actually, across the bottom, there'll be a link to take you to fourth wall for our merch store. That's where that stuff's at. Amazon store is linked down in the description down below, guys. Click that button and it will take you right over to our Amazon store that allows you to get everything that we have at our Amazon store. So today was a really good day. We've seen some numbers increase. We've seen some things get better. The car is running very smooth, very solid. When it makes a hit, it's right there. It responds very, very well. We do need to do a bunch of work to this car to get it fixed, and fixing that throttle is one of the issues. You guys won't see that here in this video, but we are going to go over final numbers before I end this stream with you guys. Also, we are going to jump over to Facebook. If you guys have Facebook, jump over there and catch the tail end of this stream where we're going to talk about how we got here and why we did what we did. So, let's see what we got. Also, guys, check out Schwanke Engines here in Springfield, Minnesota. If you guys do anything with sprint cars, they have one of the only sprint car dynos in Minnesota. How did we look on that one?
Because of that timing and stuff, it lost power, but fuel came around. I just got to make a little tweak to the fueling, and I think I got the timing thing figured out now.
So was there a hold up on the timing then?
Yeah, I was pulling for the intake air temp sensor and change that.
basically that intake air temp sensor is not, something's funky with that.
Well, the sensor itself is fine. It was just over 90 degrees, so it's pulling timing.
And you're gonna bump that up then?
Yeah, I just changed it so it has to be over 100 for timing each time.
Is there a danger with going more than 100 or?
I mean, you could disable it completely because some of these cars get hot under the hood and it kills them a lot, but you don't want to take it all out completely.
So what if we bumped it up higher? What if we went to like 120?
That's where we're at right
Oh, okay, so we did go up to that 120 temp before it starts going crazy and wanting to pull timing out.
now. Yeah.
Because I was seeing underhood temps of 150 before switching the sensor.
Just driving? Or
Just driving.
Really?
So it was getting warm. I'm wondering if it isn't pulling air in from the box. The mass airflow to a different one that we didn't need to run that inlet air temp one would make a big difference. It's just a bigger mass airflow sensor, it'll flow better. And I can show you guys what that looks like here. So this is what it looks like underneath here. Here's your mass airflow. Here's your inlet air temp. The inlet air temp is getting warm, meaning that it's reading temperatures above 90 and it's pulling timing out. We are now in the process of bumping that one up, or are we thinking about pulling it?
I bumped it up to 120 degrees before it started pulling timing.
Okay. I'm just kind of paging through if there's anything that's funky that we need to pull or modify.
Yeah.
It's good to have you guys in here today. We are at Schwanke Engines doing our dyno pull, getting our baseline and trying to wake this car up. One thing that we're having an issue with, guys, that we will have to fix is our throttle cable. So we're not able to go wide open throttle here, and that is a big problem because it's really limiting what this motor is capable of doing. Unfortunately, it's hooked through the cruise control system, so we either have to modify or change those spindles inside that cruise control module to give us full throttle, or we just have to put a whole different cable on it. That's something that we will be talking about later on, and I will do videos on that when that time comes. But for now, we're just trying to dial this thing in the best we can. We've already cut some fuel back, we've cut some timing back. We're just kind of getting ready to do what we think are going to be some of the final runs here. We did notice that it pulled timing based on the inlet air temp sensor. Anything over 90 degrees caused it to pull timing. We have bumped that up to 120. We don't want to prematurely pulling timing out of it just because we can't get the right air temp coming in, and a box will change all of that. So again, this car will benefit greatly by putting in a cold air intake, guys. That this setup has to change. We can't leave it the way it is now. It's not going to be beneficial in the future. All right, so that tune is ready. He'll come and set up the computer for what we hope are one of the last runs here. And again, guys, we're at Schwanke Engines in Springfield, Minnesota. We're strapped to the dyno trying to get LS Goat dialed in. And we want it dialed in as best as we possibly can and run it for the next few months. And we're just doing a shakedown. We want to make sure that every major component is going to handle what we're going to do. If we tune it and we drive it for a few months and we have broken parts, those parts were weak points that we have to fix. So what we're hoping is that this tune will allow us to fully test the motor, make sure that the motor's in good shape, fully test the transmission, and make sure that the rear diff is still pretty solid. These cars do have an issue on CV shafts and rear diffs. So this is a weak point of these cars. All right, we are set up for, this will be run number 4, guys. This will tell us where we're at. And we're hoping that it won't pull timing like it just did on the last run. Headphone warning for you guys. Number 4, guys, here we go. We'll fire up in here in just a second. see what we got here, guys. Like I said, we noticed that it was pulling timing out before, so we're hoping that the timing stayed back in. In other words, see if you can get a good pull on.
Got the fueling right where I want it now. Flat curve the whole way in. So I want the fuel there. Still pulling the tank. I don't understand where it's coming from.
Is it reading hot enough that we have an issue?
No, I mean, just everything's heat soaked a bunch, so intake air temps climbed up to a static of like 105 degrees versus before when they were under 100. Got too much heat soaking at this point.
No way to fix that heat soak at this point?
Other than letting it cool down. But we're not increasing in power, so it seems to be happier with a little more fuel in it, so I'm probably gonna go back to the fueling we were at.
Yeah, it seemed like it hit harder. This one seemed like it had a flat spot in it. I didn't know if you felt it or not, but I definitely could feel it out here. That as soon as you got on it, up until about that 445-ish, it just didn't really want to do much.
Yeah, it's gonna sound weird because we're in fourth gear, so I want the transmission 1-to-1. I don't want any underdrive or overdrive on it when I dyno it.
Correct.
So, I mean, you're taking off from, and I'm starting the runs at 1800, so from 1800 to 3000, it's lugging pretty hard. So. I'm gonna go back on the fueling. I'd like to have a little more fuel in it, so we'll let it have a little more fuel.
All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. We're got a little bit more to do for tuning, and then we're going to let this thing rip one more time and try to get a base, a solid baseline. Then that's where we're going to finish this one. The plan is that we are going to torture test this car, and there is a lot of stuff coming out. We are going to fix that throttle issue. I'm going to look into what we got to do to fix that. If you guys want to see what we're doing afterwards here, check out the Facebook page, guys, Bad Wrench Automotive. You guys can go over there. You'll get some of the talk that we're going to have after we get done with this dyno session. And more than likely, maybe I will be doing the dyno poll on Facebook, guys. So you'll get to watch me do the dyno poll once we get this last one kind of dialed in here, what we're thinking. But guys, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Check out our merch at fourthwall.com, linked down below. Check out our Amazon store, linked down in the description down below. And guys, remember, this stuff is just nuts and bolts, and I'll see you on the next one.